Hello and welcome back to my FPL channel. I am FPL Dean and today you're here for Game Week 22 team selection and final plugs. I had a really good Game Week 21. Hopefully you did as well, and hopefully you're joining me for some last minute advice. It's been a very short turnaround with Man United playing literally this morning in Australia on Friday. In the UK it was Thursday night, and the next deadline being Saturday morning UK time, Saturday afternoon/evening in WA time. So without further ado, make sure you please smash a like on the video. Please think about subscribing as well if you are new, or if you've just been watching me for a while and think, what the hell? And let's get into it. So there's lots to get through here. Replacements for injured, out of form players. I personally believe the best strategy at this point in the season, if you can and you can afford to do it, is to roll your transfers. Now, it sounds boring, but with some pre-planning and look, I wildcarded all the way back in Game Week 12 now. Feels like that's 10 weeks ago. And I've actually saved up a few transfers a number of times. I've got 2 free transfers at the moment. And I obviously am eyeing up the double game week for Liverpool players in particular, and I already own 2 currently. That's going to be in Game Week 24. Now, the Everton away fixture and Bournemouth away fixture that are going to compromise that double game week makes me think that their away games, more possibility of Liverpool conceding, which makes me think I don't want to go for an extra defender. I might want to go on attacker, but I really want, and the player I really would like to bring in is Diogo Jota. He's a pick that I would love to bring in, but I need to see something. I need to see him starting before I can safely go there. But for me, that's definitely somewhere I would like to go. So look, if you're after defensive replacements, I've got them nailed. The order has changed significantly from last week. So I've got 5 players for you there this week. So number 1, if you don't own him, is Lewis Hall. He has been unbelievably good the last 6 weeks. Only blanking in 1 of the last 6 weeks. Probably the most informed defender in the game. If you don't have him, you're taking him on. And you've got either Trent, Gabriel, Saliba, Van Dijk. Probably should just transfer him out, because you're going to be saving some money and this dude's outperforming them all anyway. Number 2, this week, Nottingham Forest have a really good fixture with Southampton. They've got excellent defensive data. Milenkovic comes in at number 2 this week. I just really like him. He's got good goal threat as well. Robinson comes in at number 3. He again looks really good for Fulham. He got 2 assists, two of the weirdest assists you will ever see in your life on the weekend. They do have the Leicester fixture, so he looks really good this week as well. Number 4, Munoz comes in. Now, they've got West Ham away. They've got Man United away. And they've got an interesting fixture at home in between. I think they've got Brentford at home in between. I'm not expecting Crystal Palace to keep clean sheets the next 3 weeks, which is why he comes in at number 4. Only because of the fact that he does have that really good attacking upside potential. Number 5, it is Nico Williams. If you are looking for a real budget option, 4.3. He does seem to have nailed on 90 minutes for Nottingham Forest at the moment. And look, their data's, they've got Southampton. Like, what's not love to there? In terms of the midfield replacements, now this has changed significantly. Realistically, I have Ahmed in my team. And I had the 20 points. And I think that he's just going to continue scoring points for the rest of the season. That's my honest opinion. And I have no intention of piss-farting around. I originally was going to try and get in Rodgers for the next 3 weeks after this week, but I don't think I'm going to waste any transfers on changing budget options. If I've got one of these players here, I think I'm just going to keep them, and then you play them the weeks they look good, and then you bench them the other weeks. I mean, if you benched Ahmad for the Southampton game, I don't know what you're thinking. You should always be targeting that fixture. Number 2, in comes Murphy. I still think Murphy is the next best. He's nailed on that Newcastle attack. They're playing in such great form. If you don't have Gordon, you have Murphy. It's one or the other, as far as I'm concerned at this point. In terms of number 3, it's Alanga. He's been in great form. 6 returns in the last 6 weeks. He hasn't blanked in that time. Looks amazing, and he's now playing more and more time, it looks like. I don't know if he's completely nailed, but I still really like him. Number 4, it's Rodgers. Arsenal this week, you're not buying him for this week. You're buying him for the 3 weeks that follow. In at number 5 is Sarr. I don't really like the look of Sarr. Like, as a pick, I'm not sure what it is about it that puts me off. I feel like he's one of them players that gets a lot of good data but doesn't actually perform on the data. Number 6 is Paquetá from West Ham. Now, this is new, a little bit out there, but if West Ham go to score goals and I'm riding the new manager bounce, it's going to be Lucas Paquetá. Obviously scored against Fulham the other night. So I'm expecting him to be all right here. In terms of expensive options this week, it's still number one is Gordon. He's still definitely the best one to buy in the game at the moment. Number 2, it's Bruno. He obviously blanked, but he did get 2 bonus points against Southampton, and normally stuff happens. It was just I feel like Man United were paying for the fact that they played 120 minutes against Arsenal in the FA Cup, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. Bruno still comes in at number 2 for me at the moment. Number 3, it's Eze. I really think he's really good. I think he's a far better pick than Sarr. Even though the data suggests that Sarr's meant to be a better pick, I just think that Eze is a lot better. Don't know why. That's just my personal opinion. Number 4 is Gibbs White. Amazing fixture this week. Really good long term. Obviously blanked, unfortunately, against Liverpool, but it was Liverpool, so you can't really hold that against him. Number 5, it's Phil Foden, only based on the fact that they've got Ipswich up next. This man is informed. The last 5 weeks have been really good from Phil Foden as well. I wouldn't be sitting there not expecting points this week. I would be expecting him to deliver against Ipswich Town as well. And then number 6, it's Kudos. Someone a little bit different, costs a little bit more money, but as I said, West Ham, new manager bounce, if they're going to be scoring goals, Kudos and Paquetá are going to be involved. Now, you might be concerned that I've left out a couple of players there. Don't really rate any of the Tottenham assets, even though they've got a nice little fixture on it. They're just so unpredictable in terms of a team. It's hard to recommend them. Now, in terms of forward replacements, it still is at number 1, a clear standout number 1. In terms of the second best forward to own in the game at the moment, it is Chris the Woody Woodpecker with the Southampton fixture straight up the bat and with a shot conversion of over 35%. That man is going to score goals. How many shots he gets away against Southampton, I'm not sure, but you would think that the form that he's in Forest are in, it's going to be multiple goals for Chris Wood on the weekend. Number 3 for me, it's still Nicholas Jackson. Now, the data definitely supports this. Lots of people say I'm mad. I'm not. I've shown this in every video this week that his data is actually significantly superior to the likes of Chris Wood, etc., etc. Someone that's very unlucky not to make the cut this week is Wissa. Next week, Wissa will be in probably behind Jackson in number 4. But this week it is Mateta. Crystal Palace don't score lots of goals, which is why I've got that query mark over Mateta. I'm not even sure if they'll score against West Ham this weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if West Ham actually kept the clean sheet. Number 5, it's Raul. Obviously a nice fixture again this weekend coming up. It was meant to be nice. He should have scored on the weekend against West Ham, but he does come in number 5 and is the cheapest option in this list. Now, it is safe to say that you don't need to spend up money on your defence. We saw during the midweek, Gabriel, Trent, Van Dijk, Saliba, Timber, all these expensive defenders blanked yet again. So many teams are not keeping clean sheets. Arsenal, Liverpool included in this, conceding the odd goal or whatever. It makes more sense to spend up in other areas of your squad compared to the defence. I haven't rocked an expensive defender, arguably. I've got no defender over 6 million since I got rid of Trent, and that was way before, like a long time ago, like probably 10 weeks ago or something now. I've no interest in getting any of them back in either. The options at 5 million below are still so good. They're going to outperform them most weeks more often than not. And with the goals that are going in, unless teams are nailed in to be keeping clean sheets, it's just not worth the hassle of like spending up big in the defence. That's why Timber's in my team instead of Gabriel, because he costs 0.7 less. I still cover the Arsenal defence as well. So look, he's actually in the firing line for me as well. We'll get into that in a little bit. In terms of the forward line and the midfield 8, I think the 8 players, that's where you spend your money in your squad. You spend up big there, like I have. The only budget player I've got in my team is Amat in terms of like the forward 8 spots. And I'm rocking a Phil Foden with Bruno Fernandes. So that tells you how much I think it's way more cost effective spending up in the midfield where the points seem to be being accrued than wasting money on the defence where they're getting 1 or 2 points every other week. So you do need to also be preparing for your use of FPL chips, doing some forward planning around that. As I said, you do need to be, the first one that's coming up is a double game week in 24 and then the blank game week in 29. They'll be here before you know it. We're 2 weeks away from double game week 24. Which is looking like a really popular time to triple captain. Now, if you wanted to save your triple captain for later in the season, by all means, go ahead and do that. I don't think you're going to get 2 better fixtures for one of the most popular assets though, which is why, like for me, I'm probably going to be playing it in 24. I understand some people looking to like play the assistant manager chip in that week, but I still wouldn't be playing it on Arnie Slot. I mean, 2 wins for him in a single game week is only worth 12 points. You play it on someone that's 5 places below, it's 16 if they win. Like, it makes no sense to play it on anyone that's at the top of the table. End of. It's literally just playing it safe and just protecting rank, and I think you can definitely make rank up with that chip. Again, it does depend though. Maybe you are one of those people that wants to play it then, and maybe you want to play it on, I don't know, maybe you want to play it on David Moyes and expect him to get at least a draw against Liverpool and then a win against Leicester. That makes a lot more sense to me, that you can make 14 points from that. I don't mind that as a play. But for me, I'm definitely not playing it on Arnie Slot, and I'm definitely not playing it in double game week 24 when it becomes available. So just remember, it does become available then. All the manager prices are out now as well. Go and check them out. They're on the Fantasy Premier League website. In terms of whether you can rock 2 of Ahmad, Enzo, Sarr, Rogers, Murphy, Alanga, Paqueta, all these budget options under 6 mil, I think you can. Like, realistically, we're in a world at the moment where the budget options are performing most weeks more often than not. So for me, it's definitely something I like. I'd be pretty excited about it. So without further ado, let's have a look at how my team is lining up for game week 22. So 92 points last week, massive green arrow inside the top 17,687 teams. That was in from 45,000 at the end of game week 20. So a very big green arrow for me. Obviously, the captaincy call I did on the deadline day stream where I locked in Bruno wasn't the best. I mean, I should have played it safe and just gone with Palmer. And I would have, because I was never going to captain Salah in the end, even though I did make him vice captain. If I'd been risky, someone actually suggested Phil Foden as captain. That would have been amazing. I mean, I just got the Man United player wrong, really, at the end of the day. I mean, Bruno's expected data and compared to Salah's, Salah was 0.81, Fernandes was 0.6. Just unlucky that neither of them really returned with an actual attacking return. In terms of like this week, how it's looking, we'll get into that in a second, but like, look, 92 points was pretty good. The only disappointing thing was Chris Wood was on the bench, but in reality, it was between him and Ahmad, and I'm always playing Ahmad at Southampton. And realistically, the only person that didn't get any points or any kind of return at all was Salah, who just got the standard 2 points. At least Bruno actually got 2 bonus points. So I was never benching Salah for Wood. And Nicholas Jackson, as I said earlier this week, 1.42 expected goal involvement in this game for 1 assist and a yellow card. Sorry, compared to Isaac, who had 0.97 and had 2 goals and an assist, and Chris Wood, who only had 0.16 but returns with a goal and 3 bonus points. So look, I'm not disappointed with my decision there. I obviously got the rest of the bench right. The Kirkes and Colwell I thought would not get anything, and they didn't. Julian Timber as well, I thought wouldn't get anything, but so many other defenders didn't get anything as well. It didn't really make that much of a difference. So in terms of this week, how we are lining up, we are hoping, I mean, like when you're inside the top 20,000, it's hard to get green arrows. Like, let's be honest, it's hard. There's only so many teams you can overtake from this point in the season. So look, I'm hoping that potentially I might be able to sneak inside the top 17,000 by the end of this week. And my forward 8 this week, as we're about to have a look at, is hugely problematic. So Alisson Becker still starts in goal. Now, I actively have thought about whether it's better to start Fabianski over Becker this week, because Fabianski has Crystal Palace at home. And I don't see Palace scoring that many goals, whereas Brentford, I feel like, could potentially score a couple against Liverpool, considering it is at the G-Tech, and Brentford always seem to score goals there. So I think both keepers are going to concede, which is why I've just left Becker in there. But yeah, look, the defence this week, at the moment, as things stands, I've got 2 free transfers. I haven't used any as of this moment in time. I potentially may well move Colwell out for Milenkovic. That is the transfer I'm strongly considering. I'm going to sleep on it. And I've already pre-recorded this video when it's going to release in the morning, because I'm recording it late on Friday in Australian time, but it'll be releasing on Saturday morning everywhere pretty much. So yeah, look, I am going with Colwell. He's got the home fixture with Wolves. In theory, he's got no attacking potential at all. He's literally there. I'm hoping that Chelsea can finally keep a clean sheet. I don't know if they can, but I certainly hope that they do. Robinson has got Leicester away. Again, that's a very nice fixture on paper. He could potentially get some attacking returns here as well. And I'm hoping that Leicester aren't in very good run of form. They've lost 6 in a row. They didn't score, obviously, midweek either. Hopefully I can get a win here. And hopefully it's a clean sheet and Robinson gets me a nice haul. And then obviously Hall has the difficult fixture with Bournemouth at home. Now, Bournemouth are not an easy team, but in reality, I think he's got more chance of attacking potential and returns than Timber and Kirkes. Obviously, Kirkes plays Newcastle and they're playing against Isaac, so Kirkes was an easy benching this week. But, yeah. Now, in terms of the forward 8, this is where it gets significantly harder for me. So you can see here who's on my bench. And, yeah, I mean, let me know in the comments if I've got this right or wrong. Who would you bench out of these forward 9 players this week? Like, I actually don't know. So, yeah, I mean, it's just hard. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, 8 players. What am I on about? There's only 8 midfield and forward players. So, I have got Cole Palmer playing at home against Wolves, who didn't look very good in terms of their defensive data, and they got absolutely rollicked by Newcastle. Could have been more. I'm expecting Chelsea to finally get a win here and hopefully keep a clean sheet, which is why Cole Palmer doubles up as my captain at this moment in time. Now, this could significantly change because arguably there's 3 excellent other candidates in my team for this captaincy again this week, and maybe Cole Palmer's not the one. Bruno Fernandes obviously has the home fixture with Brighton. At the moment, I'm backing him in over Ahmad purely because of the fact that Bruno is on penalties, and if we win a penalty, Bruno will be taking it. And I feel like potentially on the weekend, he'll probably play further forward. I mean, he may not, and he might start where he finished in like that central midfield area. But I feel like I'm leaning towards playing Bruno over Ahmad. And I think that's the decision I've got here. Let me know if there's someone else that I should be benching instead. Phil Foden has the Ipswich away game. He's in fantastic form off the back of 2 goals and 15 points. I'm expecting him to be brilliant again. Ipswich are a team that do concede chances, and I feel like Man City against Ipswich could be a bit of a goal fest. In terms of Mo Salah, Brentford away, I don't think he's the obvious captaincy choice this week either. Like Brentford away, yes, they do concede goals. I just don't think that Salah's going to get a massive haul here. I just got a feeling. It could be another week where he just gets a 1 return and done. Up front, it is the Chris Wood show against Southampton at home. Loving the look of that fixture on paper. I mean, Chris Wood, his shot conversion, if he gets shots against Southampton, what's to say he can't get a hat-trick there? Isaac's obviously got the home fixture of Bournemouth. And Nicholas Jackson remains in the team, and I'm quite happy for him to remain in the team with the Wolves fixture at home. His XG, if he keeps putting that up, eventually he's going to get a massive haul. He's going to get like a hat-trick or a brace or something like that, and he'll reward the faith. So I'm hoping that this is the game where he does justify my patience in keeping him in the team. In reality, though, it's either transferring him to Mateta, who I don't really rate as a forward, or just holding him. So for now, it might just be that Jackson stays, and that might be Cody Gapco that comes in during that double game week. So Jackson's got a few more weeks to prove himself there. On the bench, it does leave Fabianski at home to Crystal Palace. Like, part of me just thinks that this could be the week to just swap out the goalkeeper and play Fabianski instead of Becker. I'm not really too sure. In terms of the midfield, it's Ahmad, first bench here. Brighton at home. I mean, hopefully this doesn't burn me and I get it wrong. And then obviously on the bench, I'm going to swap that around actually. It should be Timber first and then Kirkes last. I just can't see Bournemouth keeping a clean sheet against that Newcastle team. It's in amazing form at the moment. June Timber probably, I did consider starting him over Colwill because I don't think Aston Villa are going to score against Arsenal on the weekend, but it's just hard to do that with the way that the form has been in with the forwards and that of recent times, and defenders just, and Arsenal in particular conceding the 1-off goal. Now, the captaincy decision does come down to 4 players, I think, this week. Potentially 5. Isaac's form is impossible to ignore. He does become an option. Chris Wood at home to Southampton is definitely someone I'm strongly considering. At the moment, the vice captaincy is on Phil Foden. I really rate that fixture for Man City there, and particularly Phil Foden, who seems to be in a really good run of form. Mo Salah, again, is going to be a very popular captaincy pick. Lots of people probably going to be backing him in to return after he blanked against Brentford. Against Nottingham Forest, and obviously return against Brentford. For me, I'm not 100% sure there. So, yeah, look, that's where I'm going. That is my team selection. Good luck in game week 22. Hopefully, you do get yourself a green arrow. I'm hoping again for another green arrow. At this moment in time, I'm not making any transfers, but I may make one between now, or recording this video, and the deadline day stream tomorrow. Please make sure you get on and join me. I will be live from 9 a.m. in the morning UK time, and that will be 5 p.m. Australian Western time as well if you're interested to join. Hope to see you there. Good luck in game week 22. That's been the D Unit.